Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and it looks like we actually have some news, but in the most uncommon way possible. You see, IMDB is a website where actors or agencies that represent those actors update their essential CV. This is how people can find out what these actors have done or are doing. And funny enough, we have a credit for Total War Warhammer here for Richard Summers Clavert. I'm not too sure how to pronounce his surname, but yep, it's been updated with the fact that he's Aekold Hellbrass. So that's pretty interesting. Obviously, this is a character that we've been expecting for Shadows of Change. They also hinted that this would be the legendary hero for Tzeentch, as the roadmap post, the blog that came alongside it on Steam, not an official blog post for some reason though, on their actual website, said another legendary hero joins the roster, a frontline fighter twisted by the Lord of Change, which pretty much works on Aekold. There's not a lot of frontliners when it comes to Tzeentch. Some basic lore around this character is that he's a son of a noble in Altdorf. He was actually from a knightly order, a knight of the Order of the Jade Griffin, but since he was a pompous little shit, he thought himself a little bit better than everyone else and ended up falling to the sway of a chaos cult in his area. His influence was spread, but eventually the witch hunters got wind of what was happening, and yeah, the cult was essentially destroyed. Well, there could be splinter cells in other cities, that's obviously something that we've known in Warhammer Fantasy lore before. Aekold managed to survive and fled up north, where most cases those who flee would become Chaos Warriors, or, Marauders, Magisters of some sort. But as all typical with the Fall of Chaos and just in general, it seems that the Lord of Change, Tzeentch, had some plans for him many years before his actual birth. Aekold will take on the trials of Tzeentch, eventually defeating a mirror image of himself and become one of the most unique champions that Tzeentch has available to his roster. You see, Aekold has the mastery of wind itself and even a little bit of life. It's a very odd thing, as normally the Chaos Lords do not dabble within the lore of life, but we've seen, for example, the Breath of Life. This is something from the tabletop where he's been able to actually heal himself. He can even resurrect himself, which is obviously something very unique. He can't resurrect others, though, so it does seem like his knowledge of the lore of life itself is tied to himself and only himself. His magical item, the Windblade, also makes him one of the most terrifying fighters that the Warriors of Chaos actually have, because it makes him lightning quick. He is literally one of the best blade masters in the Warhammer Fantasy setting. He could also use that blade in a number of ways. He could use it as a mount to fly to different locations. We actually know about this in lore, where he was able to throw the sword, keeping his handle on the sword, and go to quite a distance. The sword itself can be thrown like a lightsaber, for example, and also come back to its owner, which, again, is pretty damn cool. A character like this would be beneficial for the Tzeentchian factions to have a proper melee fighter. Obviously, we're expecting another character in the form of a legendary lord, but Kairos does struggle. Kairos is good for spellcasting, but he does suffer if he gets bogged up in melee. I hope this will follow the same format as Ulrika, considering that this might be the FLC character, where every faction that has some Tzeentchian stuff will be able to pick him up. That I would be assuming would be Kairos, Village, and whoever else comes. But hey, I look forward to seeing him. Hopefully it won't be too long now. It's one of these things where we finally have a little bit of news, but they're in the middle of the Pharaoh stuff, and they're going to keep on pushing Pharaoh. Don't get me wrong, Pharaoh looks cool, but yeah, it's showing the same stuff we've already seen before. Still, Aekold is awesome, and that shouldn't divert from that, so let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let's start a bit of a discussion, and I'll see you all again very soon. Have a good day.